Hi guys, I have another Copic coloring and card tutorial for you today, and today I'm coloring Gardening Charlie by Little Blue Button Stamps. You all know Charlie is my favorite. I really like how she looks here, and I went totally coloring crazy with this image and have made a whole bunch of backgrounds. So this video is more a coloring video than a card video, but I will show at the end of the video how I put the very little slim card together. I've actually made a custom size card to fit the image that I've colored. But yeah, I've started with her hair. This is, again, it's a new technique. I'm still trying to perfectionize, work for me perfectly. It doesn't, not 100% all the time, but it's a really cool one. I was taught this by reading actually the face tutorial that Zoe on Make It Crafty have, so you should go and check that out if you haven't already. She has hair and face and a lot of things. But yeah, back to the image. I really liked how Charlie were having those big plants, and I'm kind of thought they looked like trees almost, that they were big enough to be small trees that had been grown in these pots and now are ready to put out on the land, and you will see that later in the background. The hair, I'm going over it several times, over and over, with the same colors. I think actually I started out with 4 colors and ended up with 5 hair colors in this case, because when I have colored her up the first time, I thought that the dark weren't dark enough. I really like to have that contrast, but I still want to have those good blends so that the dark and the lights complement each other. And yeah, that's, I think, all about the hair. Doing the hair before I'm doing the face to see how much shadows I dare to add. Doing the face before the hair, you might not be as daring when it comes to coloring your skin, but the more you color the skin with the darker colors, you will kind of get used to it, and then you can start. Then I'm personally actually going back to doing the skin before the hair, because I usually do very strong hair colors, and I very often dip my pens into those strong colors when I color, and as it is alcohol markers, and this is kind of the reason why they do blend, is that you kind of track the color a little bit. The pen picks up the color on the nib and you push it all over her face. So I prefer personally to do my lights first and my darkest later. I'm doing my usual base colors, but I'm starting also, here's a new thing that I'm working on when it comes to coloring. I'm trying to have the lightest color in the skin case, that is E000, to be just the highlights. Before I've basically used all of the other colors for shadowing, and then the main color has been the lightest. Now I'm trying to go in and make sure that the lightest colors only kind of the highlights where I want to have highlights, and the other colors, the second color, one of the mid colors, in this case E000, is the kind of main color that I use, and this to make more dimension in my images and make them less flat. Always trying new things. Now I'm making her smocks. Is that the word? Smocks? I would say carpenter pants, but that is a direct translation from Swedish, so probably not the word for it. But I'm making them as jeans, and I'm using a couple of different colors of blue. I'm actually using the Sandy Alnock hex chart when I'm choosing my colors. It had made wonders for how I use my Copics. It does, however, make me sometimes feel that I have all the colors and I have too many colors, and sometimes I'm having a hard time kind of figuring out which colors I want to use where, and yeah, always have that issue. But it does help when you try to match something up, not going just for the how they were kind of built up by Copic. I really like, I actually use both my charts, both the Copic chart and the hex chart, for different things. Yeah, I'm using the same green in her shirt, on the leaves, on her shoes, and on her hair thingies, and eyes. And this is to reduce the amount of different colors that I have in my images. I like to, it's easier to make a cohesive image if you try not to have that much different colors in an image. Try to keep the same color tone so that the greens have the same like gray in it. Some color are more saturated than others, and I like to keep this same saturation. That's the name. Then I'm doing those little pots, and I'm actually using the same colors as I used in her hair for those pots, but I'm just using the darker ones. And then I wanted some earth for that. Here I'm starting to make the background. If you look really careful, you can see that I actually have sketched up the background with a lead pen, and then I have kind of tried to erase as much as possible, because after you colored with Copics you can't erase lead. The Copic kind of make a sealing, or seals it up. So I've sketched it up very, very carefully, and it's a little kind of land, oh, what's it called? Well, it's where you plant things. In this case, the idea is that it is planting for my trees, my apple trees. So I'm actually gonna make a couple of apple trees way in the background. Now, when I do this, I wanted to make it feel like it got very much depth, and I wanted it to feel like it was small hills that I was coloring, small bumps, because that is how it looks in farmlands. You have places where you can walk, and then you have bumps where you plant things. Or at least that's how it looks at my grandpa's place. So I tried to kind of figure that out. I'm actually looking on Google for farmland to see how it looks, and I had, I think, 10 different images that I jumped in between to look at for this specific image. I zoomed out a little bit because I realized you wouldn't get the whole image if I didn't. And then I just continued to color those bumps. I'm using a lot of different browns to get these shadows, making it feel a little bit like it's lighter in the long away, and it's darker or more saturated the closer you get. All the bumps have 3 different colors, one for the darkest, one mid-tone, and one kind of for the spotlights, the lighter areas. I'm also coloring some very blue sky, starting off with B00, then I'm using B000. I was supposed to have B000 at the top, but I picked the wrong pen, so I only ended up using 2 blues. I'm also using just 2 greens, because the further things are away, the less detailed they are. So I'm just adding in some dots onto the trees with just a smidgen darker green to make them look like they have leaves. And then those trees are done. Also make the stems a little more less saturated, more gray. And I made a little shadow because it felt like she was kind of floating there, to make her a more connection into the image. Then I'm using some brown cardstock to layer her on, because I wanted to make it very simple. I didn't want to add too much to this card. I really loved how the image was colored up, and I really wanted it to fit there. And then I just took an already made card base that I made before. I think it is Nina or Marshmallow. I use both Nina and Basil Marshmallow as my card bases, so I don't think it's Marshmallow actually. And then I just made it 1/8 of an inch bigger on all sides, and I just layer her on top of this card. I actually didn't make it 1/8 of an inch, I made it 1/4 of an inch bigger on all sides, so that I have an 1/8 of an inch border. So that's the card for today. I hope you liked it. If you do, please thumbs it up, it means a lot to me. If you have any questions, just a comment down below, and I'll see you later. Bye!